3-metre line, so it's a violation of either place.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our coverage of the 2019 New Zealand Mixed Ultimate Championships here in Kirikiriroa, Hamilton. We are here partway through day 2. We have HMC facing off against Mobility Scoober. Teams just warming up on the field now, looking to take a line in a moment and get this game underway. My name is Blair Monroe. I'm here with Daniel Clinton. We are here to provide you with a little bit of perspective from the sidelines, a little bit of information as we go forward, and hopefully keep that energy up as these two teams clash.
Quite warm today, Blair. The weather here in Hamilton, Kirikiriroa, is superb. This is wonderful weather. This is like perfect Frisbee weather.
It absolutely is an improvement on some of the games we were having towards the end of the day yesterday. One of our games got called off due to lightning. There was a giant delay in that coverage. But with a little bit of wind picking up at the moment, it's nice and cool. Relatively still, excellent conditions for playing. Both of these teams are going to have a lot more throws available to them than they otherwise might. And so we're going to hopefully see some really dynamic Ultimate Frisbee coming out here on day 2 of the tournament.
I'm looking forward to seeing this HMC team. They are full of run and gun. They are a young team, lots of talent out there. And it's an age-old question. Does youth beat experience, or does experience beat youth? Mobility Scoober are experienced veterans. Running down their list, the rule is that they've all played more than 10 years. And there's only a handful that have only played less than that. There are 2 that have played 6 and 2 that have played 1 year. So the fun fact is that collectively they worked out they have close to or over 400 years of playing experience. The youngest player being 23 and the oldest 48.
Hands going up to signal the disc coming in for the first point of the game. Mobility Scoober to come out on defense.
They're going to brick that one. Going to come to the middle of the field. HMC are going to run out of the horizontal by the looks.
Mobility Scoober coming out in a 4-person zone, looking to arrest that disc movement. HMC looking to break through. A nice high swing to the near sideline, looking for McDonald. High release, and Scoober with the block! Quick to pick up that momentum. Looking to exploit holes in the scrambling HMC defense. And Scoober with the score!
Nice point to start with, Mobility Scoober. They get a turn, and they convert their opportunity to go 1-0.
Now, Mobility Scoober and HMC do have a little bit of history at the Southern qualifying event, the Otautahi Classic. These two teams faced off in the final. A 2-point game saw Mobility Scoober become the top-seeded team in the Southern region. I think HMC, they're looking for their Rocky II moment. They went the distance in the first match. They're looking here. They're out for blood. They're hungry, and that first break is not going to leave them with a good taste in their mouths. Mobility Scoober to come back out on defense. Will we see that same 4-person cup that scored that phenomenal break this early in the game?
In Ultimate, we often have the pun name or the meme name. And Mobility Scoober is obviously a play on that idea of a mobility scooter that old people tend to terrorize shopping centers with. The Scoober is actually a throw in Ultimate, hence where the name comes from. So, great name. I love the name Mobility Scoober. I know what that team is about instantly. It's a bunch of experienced players who have been around and you know, are looking to have a bit of fun.
HMC looking to come out of that same horizontal stack. Mobility Scoober coming down with the zone. Working the disc. McDonald's in the back and the handler set with Panaya. Looking to keep the disc moving on the far sideline now. That's Scoober Cup looking to be a 5-person cup now. A lot of pressure. HMC looking to break through. Quick passes.
Nice, very, very nice.
Rabe with the score. And homemade cookies are on the board. It's a 1-1 game. They're going to come out on defense now. We're going to see what the Scoober offense looks like.
Well, that makes it 1-1. Maybe a little bit of a slow start, giving up that break in the first point of the match, but stay steady. Once the HMC offense was through that, 5-person cup, they were able to find space on the field and get down towards the end zone relatively quickly. And Mobility Scoober unable to really get clap the defense back on. So HMC defense, will they bring a zone? The weather is beautiful, like I mentioned earlier. There's no real wind, and zone, I can't see zone being terribly effective.
A lot of those overhead shots that you'd like to use to break a zone are going to be completely unimpeded by this lack of wind. They're in the name. Mobility Scoober obviously have a strong arsenal of those overhead shots, and so if HMC do come down with a zone, we might see it get broken just by looking over the top of their players.
Yeah, they're going to go match. They're in single coverage across the field, going person to person. Oh, nice flow back to the break side, using width. There's the reset.
Pushing to the far sideline now, right on the edge of the zone. Strike up the line, cuts, taken in for the score!
Very nice play. Very, very nice.
Textbook Ultimate. If you find a book on Ultimate and open it, you will see a photo of that exact moment with the exact description we gave. Just a clean, up the line strike, getting that separation from the defender, and having just enough fade on that disc to come back in and let your receiver pick that up and keep those toes in bounds.
Okay, so 2-1. Mobility Scoober are up the break. But early days
there. Up the line, you can see now on the replay, separation from the defender, goes up, pulls it down, and goes for the signal for the goal. HMC to come out on offense now.
Blair, you've been running around doing a bit of Instagram work, social media stuff. What have you, tell us some fun stuff you've seen this weekend.
I didn't realize that the Ultimate community had so many carpenters in, considering all the roofs I've seen built over the last day and a half.
Some scaffolders, maybe?
A couple of scaffolders, some people getting hungry, getting low, getting
some
horizontal.
Some crane drivers.
The disc goes up.
Good ball, Steve.
HMC looking to come out in that same... No, they've shifted to a vertical stack.
It's this 5-man cup. It's a bracket on the handlers. They force middle on the handlers, and then three women forming a wall or a fence in front of that. So the gaps will be around the sides.
Hammer goes up, reeled in, just short of out of bounds.
Very nice catch there.
Hislop's secure hands, keeping that disc alive. Rabe pulling the disc backwards. Reset to Wood in the center, looking upfield. A lot of pressure from the Scoober defense.
Oh, that fake.
The push pass fake over the head, getting the Scoober defense head on a swivel. Just enough of an opening to exploit.
Stevenson bought the farm on that one. He believed it. He had no idea where the Frisbee was.
The hammer looked off. Pickering with the disc back.
There is space behind the wall as well. I think that's what is being identified.
I wonder whether or not Mobility Scoober might be looking to use the zone specifically to bait those overheads, or perhaps to make HMC think that they're baiting the overheads. And so we're seeing a lot of conservative play from HMC. To Wood, near sideline. Looking for Ray with the reset. Swings on.
Very mature offense at the moment from HMC.
Scoober goes up, rubbing it in the face of Mobility Scoober. Hislop there right on the zone. Resetting to Rabe. Looking for players on the far side. There's a hand up in the back of the end zone. Somebody's looking for a poach. He gets looked off. Wood with the disc.
Mobility Scoober doing a great job of holding containment of this zone. The structure is there.
The hammer's up!
Sanders!
Blocked!
Sanders! He's listed his asset as advanced years. I think we might add advanced knowledge as well. He knew the most about that one. And what a great play.
Some of these Mobility Scoobers must spend a lot of time in the library reading the direction of that play and positioning himself perfectly to shut down that overhead. Cuts coming from the Scoober line. Up that sideline.
Oh, pressure everywhere.
The hook goes up. Reeled in just short, waiting for the players to catch up.
Oh no.
Second bid also fails on that disc. Not enough lead on that pass.
Martin, this side, Martin, this way.
Caitlin Wood with the disc.
The HMC have now got 60 metres to go. They're going to go to the distance again, but they've found a little bit of space there. Wood getting involved. Oh, and she's dropped it. No, she's been fouled.
Uncontested.
It was knocked out of her hand. Well, in the fourth point of the match, it is thrilling. I think that this is really, it's actually turning into a little bit of a pivotal point in the game. How does HMC deal with this zone?
High backhand.
Oh, guess who? It's Sanders again.
Hammer fake. Gets Hislop to do the full 360. Run through D, just touches the disc to the grass. An opportunity for HMC.
HMC really had an opportunity there to go fast, but no. Okay, yes.
High release again. Hislop to go and get it touched out of his hands. He's behind the 8 ball on this one. Long shot up to the near sideline. Scoober with another opportunity to open up that margin even further.
Okay, 3-1. Mobility Scoober go up. David Sanderson, Sanders rather. 2 blocks. What a point there by the wily veteran. Come back to the replay. It's the throw to the middle of the field, and then the last pass in the end zone. Very, very nice. Very, very nice.
Stephen Brown to pull that one in for Mobility Scoober, opening that margin up further. HMC wanting that chance at redemption, wanting to relive the finals of their qualifying event, but flip that scoreboard the other direction. Those chances are slipping away from them as they keep letting Mobility Scoober get these breaks. I think the HMC must stand for hungry. Masters of Christchurch. But they are not displaying the kind of intensity they need. Not at the moment. If they let these breaks keep coming through, it's going to allow Mobility Scoober to maintain their southern dominance.
Just coming back to the assist by Alison Scarlett. She's actually got a torn meniscus and is playing. So she She's that old brand of tough. She's got a bit of tape on the knee and off she goes. It's no worries.
Penaya with the disc now. I've heard Joe Penaya described as a man who does not make mistakes. We'll see if that reputation is well earned.
And it's more zone. It's that same looking zone.
Penaya with the disc on the far sideline. Nice floaty forehand.
That is a really nice throw. That has broken the zone wide open.
Push them back. Over there, Chris. All over there, Chris.
Penaya with the assist.
Makes no mistake about that one. 3-2 the score.
A crucial hold for HMC. Keeping them in this game. They're going to come out on defense now.
Yeah, you get the sense that if you give Mobility Scoober too much of a buffer, you will never run over the top of them. I think that they're way too experienced. They'll just slow the game down, you know, just chip their offenses in, and it's going to be hard to run over the top of a team like that. So you don't want to let it drift too far too early.
A team with that level of experience, they're going to do a really good job of maintaining their pace and ensuring that this is a Mobility Scuba game. By defining the pace, it's really going to allow them to pour the pressure on when they need to and really arrest any momentum that HMC managed to build up.
It's interesting, HMC have lost Joe Aguirre, long-time veteran of the sport, played for a long time in Australia actually, before heading to the United States, and now she's here in New Zealand playing. She's pulled up a little bit sore, so hopefully she comes good for tomorrow. As one would anticipate that HMC are going to go deep in the tournament, and holy moly, that is a humongous pull.
A little bit much dip on that chip. Scoober are going to bring that in at the brick mark, looking to set up in a horizontal. HMC looking to match defense, exploit that youth, exploit that athleticism to try and pin down the Scoober offense. Oh, the match is broken. They're looking to apply a zone. Big wings, big arms on the mark. A floaty shot. And miscue. Now's the golden opportunity for HMC to tie up this game. Penaya to start with the disc on the near sideline.
Cleats are held together with strapping tape.
Big fake to center the disc. Nice low release.
It's not a stoppage. Travel
looking
call.
for Rabe. McDonald. The shot goes up, bleeding to the left. It's in! What a score. Absolutely beautiful reception by Wickens.
Great throw as well. That is just a location throw. Outside shoulder. There's nobody that's going to catch that.
Absolutely phenomenal. The man with a scope on his right arm, just putting the shot up exactly where he wants it, exactly where his receiver was.
Get a great look of it there. You see that outside in, just perfect. No defender's going to get that. No defender is even going to come close. So 3-all, HMC come back. A mini resurgence.
Huck's mate Chur to come out on defense. Mobility Scuba's offense. We saw a zone look from HMC on their most recent defensive point. They managed to score those turns and capitalize. Can they do it again? And if they do come down with that zone look, will Mobility Scoober live up to their name and put some overheads up to try and break through that zone? Hands going up from both teams. Disc coming in. High pull. Mobility Scoober, no attempt to make the catch. Coming out in a horizontal, keeping that disc moving.
And Scarlett popping up in the middle of the field, sans meniscus. Bit of a zone from HMC. Moore gets a reset.
Right back through the zone.
And Scarlett with a great throw that's going to open them up. She started the move.
Open option was there in the end zone, but got looked off, looking to play a patient game. Mobility Scoober in no rush to hold on to their lead. Looking upfield, the reset's there. And disc immediately moves.
I really question playing zone against this Mobility Scoober team. I think that HMC, they need to go single coverage, match it up across the board, and try and turn this game into a bit of an athletic.
A lucky save, but it's been a call, mate.
Ooh.
Looks like the argument is that the knee made contact with the line as the disc was secured.
Yeah. It's not
Disc
the
is
most.
checked in.
And Scarlett. Scarlett throws the assist. Yeah, so the call was that he wasn't in the end zone when he caught it. So he must have been on the line. And on the line is out in ultimate Frisbee. And in this context, on the line meaning out of the end zone.
But that little stoppage did not stop Mobility Scoober. They were able to gather their heads and put that disc right exactly where it needed to be to open that lead back up.
So 4-3. Game's close. Poised. HMC had a rough day yesterday. They ended up losing to Hamilton Prime. It's probably a game that, well, it didn't go to seed. I really can't say whether it went to expectation or not, but certainly it didn't go to seed. HMC 4th seed overall in the tournament. Hamilton Prime 9th seed. So dropping that game, certainly mixing up the seedings. We're going to see what the repercussions were as we look through the draw. Both pools were wide open. There was 3 teams on the same win-loss in both pools. In Pool 1, there was 3 teams on 2 and 1. And in Pool 2, there was 3 teams on the record 1 and 2. So it's all to play for at the moment. Anybody could end up in the quarters, and I get the feeling that the quarterfinals will be very, very hotly contested.
HMC to come out in a vertical stack. Nice hammer over the top of the far sideline. It's kept alive. First with the disc, a low shot. Just kept in. Adriana Ryan with the disc. High release, anybody's disc. It's a school.
That is a foul call, and I'm not sure about that one. It didn't look like it affected his ability to make the play on the Frisbee. I, of course, follow closer to the American perspective. In Australia, anyway, the interpretation is that any contact is a foul, irrespective of what impact it had on the play. What's it like here in New Zealand, Blair? Does it run closer to any contact as a foul, or is it more about what impact it had on the play?
In my experience with regards to fouls, generally the play stops for a half second while people make up their mind. But generally, if it's more to do if the contact interferes with the ability to make a play on the disc. So if I go up and I'm getting fingers underneath the disc. I'm nowhere near it, and then I feel that contact. I'm not going to call foul on that because I missed the disc on my bed.
So there's actually a side discussion going on the sideline as well at the same time, a retracted foul. So it's going to be a contested foul call and go back. So the players can't agree on what happened. So in ultimate, when that is the case, it's like the contested play never happened. So it'll go back to the throw before. And the disc will come in on stall 6, I would imagine.
The disc is back in. Ryan with the disc, looking for Wood. Wood now pinned down, high release backhand, but it's kept alive. The long shot goes up.
Oh, it's very long.
Ryan with the read. Not quite. The disc goes to ground.
Does a barrel roll and everything. Doesn't catch it.
I admire the commitment, but a better positioning would have been a better result for HMC.
A better throw. She was in a paddock of space. That throw needed to, well, it needed to be not so long and not over the top of her head. She comes underneath it to try and read it, and it just ends up in a big mess.
HMC to come out on defense now, looking to match up against Mobility Scoober's vertical stack. The cuts are coming in. Stephen Brown looking off the undercut, going for the reset. Hut goes up! It's a hospital pass. Everybody's underneath it. Who wants a
Sanders has not come up with it. He has flown from the back of the pack.
Sheridan with the turn. Comes up underneath that disc to keep it back in HMC hands. Fraser with the disc now. Shot going up. And it's brought down by Furs.
What a way to end that point. Oh, big plays. Big plays.
Absolutely dominating jump to keep that in HMC's hand, to get that crucial turn. For all, Scoober, Mobility Scoober, facing off against Her Majesty's Christchurch.
Incredible. I'd love to have another look at that block. If David Sanders has come from nowhere and nearly made a play on that Frisbee. I don't know where that leap has come from. Yeah, here it is. So in this throw, it sits in the wind a little bit. The wind is left to right on the screen, so it's just holding it up. See Sanders enter the frame from the back. Oh.
Just that little difference in timing.
Yeah, that's an outstanding grab. Outstanding. I love that.
That's a Nobel Prize for literature if ever I've seen one.
Yes, Scoober!
HMC to send it up. Long pull. Casual chase. That's going to give Mobility Scoober an option to build up some momentum. Quick passes. Nice, easy gainers. They're coming out in a horizontal stack this time.
HMC going with this poachy, saggy zone. It's like Grandpa's wife runs.
Kept alive by Mobility Scoober. A crucial layout. High floaty disc, too far out the sideline.
I believe that is the
conservation of greatness.
That's the one. Thank you. Thank you for your help there, Blair. I needed your assistance on that one. He has yoinked that out of bounds. And the man who makes no errors.
Penaya to pick up the disc on the near sideline. Nice floaty forehand. Open player on the far side. Muldrew with the disc back to Penaya.
Ooh, that has gone straight through the hands.
Mobility Scoober with an opportunity to regain that lead, to crack open this tied game, put a 5th point on their scoreboard. Huck goes up.
That is long and it's flat.
Just enough pressure from that HMC defense, an early bid forcing Mobility Scoober to mistime their attempt, and the disc flies just beyond the fingertips.
This is a hard-fought match at the moment. We're nearly 30 minutes in, and there's only been 8 points scored. Oh, Panaya.
Big fake huck. Panaya to McDonald. Back through the play to Hansen. Shot goes up to Mulger. That massive 4-person cup looks like from Mobility Scoober, applying a lot of pressure to that defense. Strike cut gets looked off.
Looks like they're actually transitioning out and going to single coverage now. Oh, he is.
McDonald, no, Sheridan looking to keep that momentum. No, it was McDonald looking to maintain that momentum. A quick pass coming out of the hands. Misread the receiver's direction. The disc flies out the sideline. Scoober with a floaty, giving the HMC defense a chance to catch up. Cuts are getting looked off. The stall count's elevating. A shot goes off and it's kept. Shot goes up. And it's brought down by Mobility Scoober. Defender a receiver, completely open space. They just reel those ones in really nice and easy. The way you'd expect from an older team.
I don't even know whose O point that was. It results in Mobility Scoober scoring. But I don't think that breaks are really not an issue at this stage. It's who can cap the point, because both teams are having opportunities. They're both getting a look at the disc and a chance to score. And that point in particular, it was Mobility Scoober who could get the job done. HMC, I think they really need to move towards some sort of single coverage defense. The zone just kind of isn't getting it done at the moment.
It looks like they might have to shift back to a strong match defense to really apply that pressure to Mobility Scoober. Those resets in that handler set for Scoober are doing an incredibly good job of just keeping that flow up. And the handsomest mixed club in New Zealand, HMC, they're really going to have to dial that intensity up if they want to stay in this game. There's an opportunity for a hold now for HMC to tie up that game. Scoober looking to send out their strongest defense and get enough of a fingernail hold, enough of a lead to give them a bit of breathing room. It just goes up. Rape to Panaya. We see the same zone from Mobility Scoober. Panaya. Mansell hammers up. Just kept alive. Muldrew, Panaya, Mansell. Looking to break around that zone. Panaya again. Opportunity for an assist. High release backhand on the far side. Straight through. And there it is. Beautiful assist from Panaya.
So 5-5 the score. Our scoreboard will be updated shortly. HMC hold their O point. And yeah, okay.
Simon Goss with the point.
Okay, that's some excellent high-fiveness.
Both teams playing quite conservative ultimate here. The conditions are optimal. We could see something a bit more dynamic. And maybe that might be what we see on this next point. It's been trading backwards and forwards. I think one break apiece per team, one defensive opportunity to turn the disc and score. So it might be time to unleash something with a bit more intensity. That might be what it needs to really swing the tide of this game in one direction or the other. But HMC with the disc, looking to come out on defense. Clean, low pull. Scoober picks it up. Easy resets. Keeps the disc moving. The huck goes up. Who's under it? Fishman with the score. Just that perfect timing. Went up right underneath it. Pulled that one down through the HMC player.
6-5. But some clean offense has been the story of the game for the last couple of points. Both offenses converting their possessions. Big flick, and Fishman had position. Looking through the mobility scuba roster, there are a great number of world's reps. Speaking of world's reps, the man with the disc cannon, Stevenson, is a world's rep from way back when. He's played a couple of times in the black and white. It was black and silver for New Zealand, the colours.
I think that's black and silver there. Just to come back in on the brick mark for HMC. HMC lining up in a typical vertical stack. Fraser at the back is going to make a strong initiation cut under to the break side. Ryan with the disc, looking for options, looking for a reset. To Wood, confident handler for the HMC side. Fraser with the disc now. Nice break, high release. Pulled down by Sheridan. The hammer goes up, gets a hand to it, but it's kept alive by Furs.
Moore got a huge piece of that. We heard it from here.
That was the sound of hearts breaking, but the disc was kept alive. Wood to take in the center. Back to Furs. Sheridan, maybe a second attempt on that hammer. We don't see it, it goes back to Furs. That handler set, really working the disc. Fraser with the high shot. Nice edge to nobody.
Hannah Stevenson off the back of the stack poach. Flashing deep. And the throw is miscued and way too far in front.
You can have the most stable, beautiful throws in the world, but unless you've got the patience to make sure they get to a receiver, all they're doing is giving your opposition an opportunity to get that break and open up that scoreline. Scoober there with the wide shot, near sideline.
Moore goes with a thrower-initiated throw.
The huck goes up, lefty huck, fading back towards the center.
Yeah, that is not the location that throw needed. It needed to be out in front. He's going to want that one back. He'll see that. He'll go home and have a watch the footage tonight, and he won't be impressed.
HMC with an opportunity, another chance. Hopefully a bit more patience on the disc as they approach the zone. Furs looking to pick up, resetting in that vertical stack. Sheridan going long. The huck goes up. There's separation, but it's closing. Taller player.
Oh, Moore with a great play on that. I don't think that's a foul.
There did look to be a little bit of contact on the back as they were approaching the disc in the lead up to the jumps.
Stevenson was more worried about Moore than he was about the disc. He needs to focus on the disc and let what happened happen. And Moore did a good job, I think, of avoiding contact. So, players just going to discuss what happened. It's going to be an uncontested foul, so we'll come back. It'll be Stevenson's disc from the front of the end zone. So, okay, fair enough.
And The Czech players are allowed to move. Ryan looking for space. Getting completely marked out by the Scoober, but a timeout is called.
Okay. All right. So right on the end zone line, nobody in front of him. Stevenson calls the timeout, and, well, HMC, really good opportunity here. 6-all. You know, this game is in a good spot for both teams. You're going to have to think, though, the longer this game goes on, can the youth, can the legs, can the exuberance, you know, overcome the experience and nous of the mobility Scoober 400 years of collective playing experience?
I think that mobility Scoober experience, this is a really great opportunity for them to just get that focus in. They can really tighten up that defense. It's a crucial opportunity right on their defending end zone. So they need to take this 75 seconds and just take a deep breath, get themselves settled. HMC with a wonderful opportunity. They're in the center of the field. There's a really nice opportunity to isolate one of their stronger players and just get them into space at either side of the end zone. Put a nice, easy throw for them to pull in.
So you think that's what the play is here for HMC? Isolate someone in space and
my money
just put someone on an island?
My money's on Adriana Ryan, number 99. You can see she's pushing to the back of the end zone, which gives her 2 easy front corners to make a hard cut to once the defense is set.
Yeah, Ryan exceedingly tall. You see her standing next to her two teammates, and she's head and shoulders above both of them.
You could probably have both of those players stand on each other's heads and they'd only just be able to high-five her at full extension.
So HMC will get set. Once they are set, they're not able to move. Mobility Scoober will then get set, and once they are set, the disc will be tapped in. So HMC looks set. Mobility Scoober just checking.
Sheridan, Wood, and Fraser back in the handle set. Really calm throwers, confident throwers. Furs is making moves. There it is. Comfortable score for HMC to tighten that game up, bring it back to 6-all. I was right on the isolation call, just wrong on the player.
Yeah, and they created that actually through a open side dump. You see that the dump comes around to break the mark. The throw, it wasn't a break mark throw, it was a break mark dump, see? And then that opens up the angle to the break side of the field, and that's a really well drawn up play actually.
That's strategic. So obviously calling that timeout that close to the end zone was crucial for HMC. They were able to isolate those key elements of that play and just make sure everybody knew they were on the same page.
And it was good to see they just didn't jam something into the end zone. The risk is to get a bit of white line fever when you're that close and you've called a timeout and you've got the opportunity to breathe and look and read the defense, read your offense. The temptation is to just
cram it up the crab hole.
Take a shot. It really doesn't need to happen. Whereas Stevenson, with great presence of mind and some wisdom, understands that the defense is set, and to create an opportunity, you need to shift the defense around. You need to create an angle to get that opportunity.
Desk. That same HMC zone that we're seeing, putting the Scoober handler set to work. Puck option was there. Defense catches up. They look to reset the disc. Swinging back across, making that HMC zone work. Long swing to the near sideline. Overhead blade shot. It's just kept in. That could be the opportunity. That could be what the Scoobers need. A quick break over the top of the zone in the still conditions. Nice little easy resets, but the zone's had a chance to catch up. Are we looking for another overhead? Something to break this thing open once and for all.
HMC doing a great job maintaining containment, but I really don't see Mobility Scoober turning this over if they just have to play catch and throw all day. I think that they're too experienced and too good.
Yeah. Mobility Scoober are exhibiting a lot of patience. A narrow shot up the sideline, but it opens up the middle of the field, and the zone have a chance to catch up. We might be forced back into that little game of disc tag. Looking for those options. Mobility Scuba players not creating many openings in that zone.
It's a very, very long offensive point. Many passes.
There it is!
Throw to the girls. The girls are sorted out.
Who run the world? Girls. Beyonce, I hope you're a fan of Ultimate, because the ladies out here are doing work. That nice swing to the far sideline, lady connection for the easy grab. And that allows Mobility Scooter to go up 7-6, 1 point away from taking half.
Look at this rip too.
Just dead flat, dead straight. Miles of separation from the defender.
Get in there.
And again, that Mobility Scuba, that's just them demonstrating the exact same patience that comes from having so many years of experience. They know that they can make these short passes, short catches. They know they've got the throws. They don't have to take risks that they don't want to. And I suppose once the body starts to break down, you spend all your time practicing those precise throws and those focused catches. And that's exactly what they brought out, and that's exactly what allowed them to score their 7th point of the game and maintain the narrowest of leads in this clash between teams from the south.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, Blair. The number one thing that turns receivers into throwers is injuries. A major injury to a receiver type will turn them into a handler faster than anything you would ever believe, because they can't play for, several months, and they just spend the entire time throwing, and all of a sudden they'll come back and they're like, we have a new string to our bow. The Mobility Scuba will go on defense. 7-6. This game it's a thrilling tactical encounter at the moment. And Mobility Scuba with a huge opportunity. They're going to return to their force middle.
That beautiful, just intellectual 4-person cup. Huge amount of defensive pressure. Mansell getting caught in the thick of it at the moment. Mobility Scuba putting the web out, trying to just ensnare HMC. But Rave manages to pick it up. Goss to reset. Mansell. Scuba goes up the top, and it's wobbly. Rave can't get a hand to it.
That is disappointing. That Scuba was on. Mansell made the right decision and then just didn't make the throw.
And it's those unforced errors that HMC really cannot afford to take or make against a team like Mobility Scuba, with the experience to have probably seen hundreds of opportunities like the one that just opened up for them.
Sanders with the circle cut.
Well, when you're getting on in years, you maybe can't make as sharp turns as you might like. We have plenty of bananas off the field to make sure that the players get enough potassium. Fishman with the disc. But sometimes, yes, there it is.
They take half. Blair 8-6. That is a huge moment in this game to take that break and get an opportunity to have a little bit of a rest, get the shade, get some water, get a little bit of potassium maybe, like you said, on board. 8-6 the score. That's halftime.
All right, so we'll take a short break, and we will be back with you for the second half in this clash between these two teams from the south. Will Mobility Scoober be able to take the lead, or do HMC have something left in the tank? We will find out shortly.
Poor guy's like, what?
I need affection. Like a feline, when you feel I'm what you need, then you get close. Underneath rhymes, I'ma need mine too, like I need yours. So rejuvenating, musing, mating, grooving through the ropes on the coast, when maneuver making, choosing, raking through on a cruise to the innermost. See a host making toast with a hostess with the focus and ferocious love to share. Get it all. An ocean of a potion, lotion, rub it on and need some right there. Only love, right above, can find there's plenty room to glide. Cause only love survives this love, so ride not gently in tonight. I know what I want, I know what I need affection, yeah. Gotta work that out for me. I know what I want, I know what I need affection. No. Yeah, gotta work that out for me. I know what I want, I know what I need affection. I need affection.
And we are back for the second half of the clash in Kirikiriroa, our match between HMC and Mobility Scoober, two teams from our southern region here in New Zealand at the 2019 New Zealand Mixed Ultimate Championships. After Mobility Scoober take half with an 8-6 lead, a very narrow lead, but one they have clung to desperately throughout this game, they are looking to come out on offense.
Yeah, they did take a break there at the end, so they get first use of the disc in the second half. This is the final pool play match. After this, the standings will be set and our quarter-finalists decided. And we'll be on to the championship field. And ladies and gentlemen, I cannot wait for you to see that field.
It really is a thing of beauty, but so is our field at the moment. Fishman to save, and the hook goes up.
What a beautiful throw to start it. Fishman's going to hang
chase
it out.
Yes. Hislop to chase that one out. Applying immense pressure to make sure that Mobility Scoober don't get the chance to open that lead up further. A beautiful huck opportunity on that near sideline.
That throw by Natalie Bell. That was a hell of a throw. Fishman was covered well on the dump, and Bell has somehow created a reset out of nothing.
Furs looking to reset to Fraser. Winding up the huck, it doesn't come off. Just these two men, Furs and Fraser, looking to keep their disc moving. Hansen up the far sideline. Fraser making moves, a low disc, and he's kept it alive just before it touches the grass. Wide swing across the far side. Hislop's there, just outside the zone.
Great defense.
It's a no good for HMC. A perfect turn and an opportunity to really pour on their defense close to their attacking end zone. Wonderful opportunity for them now, but Scoober have shown that they can work the disc up. Fishman with a big hook.
That's much better by Fishman.
Just short of the zone.
Yeah, there was a pick by the looks of it, but I'm not sure it affected the play. Yeah, it looks like the disc will stay where it is.
Just a wonderful opportunity for some of the players a little bit further upfield to have a cheeky jog, find themselves back in position, as HMC really need to pour on the defense to keep themselves in this game.
I see. So the pick was called a long time ago. It didn't affect the play, but the defense still does get the opportunity to catch up to the offense. So make up a lot of space. Paige Hansen.
The disc is about to get checked in. Play begins. Scoober, Mobility Scoober looking for that option. Goes up and it's reeled down.
9-6. This is a start to the half that Mobility Scoober will have drawn up on their stone tablets. They're probably a bit old to be using the Apple tablet or the computer tablet, so they're over there with the chisel, etching things into the stone.
Well, one of the benefits of spending so much time working with things like stone and chisels is that you have a wider variety of tools available to you than some of these newer teams. They have been using these to great effect today, particularly when HMC come down in a slightly saggy zone. We're seeing a lot of beautiful, clean overheads from Mobility Scoober. We've seen a couple of attempts from HMC to try and break the cup that Mobility Scoober have sent down, but one of those came out really, really wobbly, and it definitely cost HMC at the end of the first half.
And Mobility Scoober now, another D point for them, 9-6. 3 points in front. HMC need to find something defensively. Offensively, they've been doing fine. It's just defensively, they haven't really had the opportunities that they need.
Brown with the pull. Furs to Wood. Looks like they've folded into a horizontal stack. Adriana Ryan's going long, but it's not coming. Sheridan. Furs. Easy shot. Looking for Hansen. Rabe. Furs is an option. A nice reset back, but that cup is applying a lot of pressure. The hammer goes off the top. Sheridan back to Furs to center the disc. And a nice shot to Wood, one of the confident handlers for the HMC side.
Played really well today.
Hammer fake. Sheridan with a read on it. Keeps that disc alive.
Probing around the edges of the mobility Scoober zone.
By having so many players in that cup, they really are able to stretch it wide. Just keeps the toe in. Rabe with the score.
Yeah, Luke Rabe just finding the soft spot point in the zone, and Sheridan picks him out.
Absolutely clinical attacking offense. Just that really nice toe down, lean forward and catch. It almost looks like it's happening in slow motion. It's exactly what you want to see on those short passes, particularly after a long point, after you've had that bit of grind.
Yeah, Ryan Sheridan, interesting fact, known as Razza. He was on a team with a Ryan that was better than him, so he had to sacrifice his name. You can't have two players with the same name.
I think Hammertron in particular has about 6 Chris's, and they all, not a single one of them goes by Chris. But to Ryan Sheridan's credit, I'm not seeing another Ryan on the field getting shout-outs for all the hard work he's putting in for HMC. So who's the better Ryan now?
Ryan Evans is supposedly the one who gets to be called Ryan because he's the better Ryan. He needs to find a new gear because Sheridan is throwing the gauntlet down and maybe claiming the rights to be called Ryan. HMC, they really need something defensively here. This saggy zone that they've been using hasn't been good enough. This ball is going to be a long way out of bounds. So this is going to be a brick. And a horizontal from Mobility Scoober. HMC have finally put the zone away. They're going to go single coverage.
Kept alive by a nice low bid. Linky with the disc, a big huck. Looking for an empty zone, not enough boost on those shoes. Maybe would have been a great opportunity to put the clutch in, push it up to 4th gear, but the receiver was nowhere near that disc. HMC with a golden opportunity now, the ticket from Willy Wonka.
The golden ticket.
Golden ticket.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can get around that. Panaya, the man who makes no mistakes. So out of the horizontal, HMC looking to try and work something. Cutters are isolated in space. Lots of room.
Goss with the disc on the near sideline. Shot goes up, it's Floaty, who's got it?
Into the stack.
A hospital pass if ever I've seen one.
Panaya trying to get involved.
Nice disc patience from HMC here. Shot goes up, Goss has got another opportunity. Swings back to Panaya, looking for another assist.
Beautiful dominator movement. And again, Panaya inserting himself into the game. The poach has to flash off the far side handler to try and stop.
McDonald now, Panaya out there breaking ankles, but it goes up. Goss takes it.
good score for HMC.
That was a nice throw. Two possible receivers, but Goss got a bit greedy, went up, got a bite to it.
Well, that is the break that HMC have been looking for a long time. To take it to 9-8, it'll now be a point with 4 men under the prescribed gender rule. And Mobility Scoober will go back to offense.
We'll see what kind of defense HMC decide to bring out for this point. They poured the pressure on Match in the last point after having packed away the zone that saw them lose the first half. It might be a time to use that really high level of athleticism and youth to try and really pin down some of those more agile Mobility Scoober players.
It's really only going to take one player to get off their feet, make a play, get a block, and HMC could easily win this game. If they elect to keep playing conservatively, you know, still trying to leave something in the tank, this game is going to be very difficult, and they could make it hard on themselves. Oh, the amount of times I've seen a throw like that result in the Callahan.
That would have been the opportunity for the big play. Scoober to maintain position, to keep their heads. Lots of disc movement, but good patience, not making any unnecessary options, not forcing any risky discs. Fishman.
Love to see Panaya just to be a little bit closer on Sanders here.
Zev to save. Zev Fishman right on the sideline, goes to the knees to keep that disc alive for Mobility Scoober. Sanders out on the far sideline, looking for that reset, gets looked off. There he is.
Panaya just needs to be closer here. He's letting that around go.
Fishman putting in a lot of work, really high intensity, getting the disc every second or third touch, doing most of the running for the Scoober O-line at the moment. Broken past the defense, players in complete isolation, but the throw goes perhaps too much respect for the cutter's speed. Goes out the front, and this is a turn that HMC desperately need to keep themselves in this game.
Sarah Hannes has just completely overcooked that. She left that in the oven way too long. It's dead. Stick a fork in it.
Wickens with the disc, looking for Muldrew. Mansell to pick that one up. Rabe.
Oh, there is just free players everywhere in the D space, but they can't find it. There is too much mess on the underneath space on the open side.
And a pick has been called as a result.
HMC, they have possession and the opportunity to level it up. What is that throw? Panaya!
The man who makes no mistakes. Shooting to Rabe.
And make no mistake about it. That is the play that maybe HMC wanted. I wanted something special. It's something the complete opposite. It is a terrible throw that gets saved by Panaya, and then he hucks it to score.
I think the rules might have been on HMC's side on that one. If both players make contact with the disc at the same time, it favors the offense. And so HMC, with that perfect timing, managed to pull that down, get a long shot up that sideline for Rabe. There it is, it goes up.
Leveling it up at 9-all, that is huge for HMC and their chances in this game. It is a massive moment to level it up now. There's a timeout by Mobility Scoober. They are going to take a break and have a chat about it. They're not impressed. Zev Fishman, very animated in the huddle. He's on the left-hand side there speaking at the moment. I think that they need to clean it up a little bit because it looked good, and then that final pass in the end zone was just let them down.
And after, I think that's 3 breaks from HMC to keep that score tied up, after Mobility Scoober took half, they'll have been feeling very confident, and HMC do not want a repeat of their qualifying event, the Otautahi Classic, that saw them come off second best. That hunger that we were expecting to see in the first half is finally starting to bear its teeth.
So what happened in the Otautahi Classic?
Mobility Scoober and HMC met in the finals, and Mobility Scoober managed to pull away with a 2-point lead and taking it 11-9, which is a close game, much closer than you'd hope for if you are Mobility Scoober, knowing that you're a team with a lot of experience and seeing these young bucks come up and be within 2 points of snatching the title, snatching your dominance over the southern region. Hopefully they'll be able to remember how that game went, and they'll be able to use some of that intensity to really pull ahead in this clash now.
So here in New Zealand, that Otautahi Classic, did that double as kind of the regional qualifier for that region?
Yeah, so the Otautahi Classic is the southern region, so the entirety of the South Island. All of the ultimate teams there were eligible to compete at the Otautahi Classic, and the top 3 teams there earned berths to compete here in the 2019 New Zealand Division 1 Mixed Ultimate Championships. So these 2 teams came first and second in that tournament, and so they're getting the opportunity for their Rocky 2, their rematch right now. HMC to come out on defense. The pull goes up.
Deep pull. Very
Beautiful
deep
pull
pull.
goes to ground, gives HMC the chance to set that up, stop that flow. Just misses a bit on it. Hislop on the mark.
Scarlett cutting like a machine. Scarlett.
The hut goes
Scarlett! It's a red letter day! Oh, what a throw! Alison Scarlett. That is just how you place them. Ultimate Frisbee.
I think Mobility Scooter might have heard me mention that they just need to remember how that game went and bring some of that intensity back. And they have done it. They've busted the HMC defense wide open for a quick score on that point after the timeout.
And it was all through Alison Scarlett on this near sideline. I watched her make a hard cut under, didn't get it. Made another hard cut deep, didn't get it. Went back under, got it. More, another hard cut. Scarlett gets it, and then lights it up with that huge throw to the end zone. That is perfect.
That is the kind of textbook ultimate that we would expect to see from such a veteran team. They're coming back out on defense. They have done an absolute phenomenal job really pressuring HMC's offense with a 4-person cup, sometimes shifting to a 5-person cup. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We'll see how they come down, whether or not they're going to prioritize that same zone defense that's working so well for them.
Oh, that's a missed pull. We're going to go back and try that one again, I think.
Stephen Brown with a bit of stage fright. Up it goes.
Second time lucky, so to speak.
Wood with the disc.
And Wood.
Sheridan. Big huck fake. Resets to Wood.
Wood's had to work against this zone most of the day. She's had a really good game. She's been so incredibly reliable. I haven't seen her throw a turnover yet. Speaking of reliable. Ooh.
Looking for Furs for the reset.
Sheridan. Wow.
I think it might be Ryan Evans who has to go by Razza now.
Yeah,
just an absolute workhorse, putting it in effort every point he comes on the field.
It's game on is what I just heard through the field mic. 10-all, and we're still got a little bit of time to play. We're still a reasonable amount away from time cap, and yeah, it's 17 minutes to go with 10-all. You would say that there's another maybe 6 points, maybe 4 points to play. you can see it going to universe. Can't you? You can see this coming down to one point or last point wins.
Mobility Scoober to come out on offense this time. Looking to just claw ahead as they have been doing this entire game. HMC looking to answer with a break as they keep trading points backwards and forwards. We are coming closer and closer to the hooter that signifies our soft cap. And then, as you said, Daniel, it looks to be just a battle for the last point that wins.
It seems so cruel. You play for an hour and a half, you sweat and, you know, blood and tears on the odd occasion, and then it all comes down to 1 point. Just it seems so harsh.
Linky with the disc, looking for Fishman. Back to Fishman. Options there for a shot. Up the line, back to Linky. Confident handler, the huck goes up.
Oh, give it to the girls.
Reeled in.
Give it to the girls. Guys, just come over here and let the chicks play. You don't need to be out there. Oh, that is just awesome.
Really nice clinical ultimate from the Mobility Scuba ladies side, who seem to be doing a majority of the hard work on some of these crucial points. While some of the guys are out there putting the grind in, really these clean points, these 3-4 pass points that really keep Mobility Scuba in the game. The short holds.
This is the secret to good mixed ultimate, is women. Where do you involve your women? How do you get your women involved? And we see here, Mobility Scuba, it is their women who are throwing hucks, throwing goals, and it's just so hard to stop because the women are used to throwing into smaller windows. Women, generally speaking, are a little bit slower than men, so the receiving windows are smaller. So they have to be a little bit more accurate with those throws. The extension of that is they can work in smaller spaces. With the men, they need more room, okay, because they cover more ground. They need more space. The women, on the other hand, don't. They're used to those highly accurate throws, those one-out isolated cutters, and then just finishing plays.
And when you pair some confident throwing like that with some of the taller, more athletic Mobility Scuba players, you really do have a perfect storm, a perfect opportunity to score some points. HMC with the disc.
It looks like Kanaya has gone savage now. He's playing both ways. And that's probably a good move. He's been really good offensively. He needs to offer a little bit more defensively, I would say.
Wicked with the disc. Being pinned down on the sideline by that zone. Very close, a lot of pressure. Muldrew to get it back, breaking backwards with a hammer, and it goes to ground.
Well, we have the slowest of a breath of wind, and all of a sudden it results in the Mobility Scuba defense getting a turn. Sanders picks it up in the red zone.
This could be what Scuba needs. Muldrew pressuring that defense, not getting there in time.
High stall.
Brought alive. Shot goes across for the score.
Well, that is a break, and a crucial break it may be. 12-10. Mobility Scuba go up.
I think with that hammer attempt by HMC, I could hear nails being driven into something. Could it be the coffin?
Well, this is where games are won and lost.
That high release was very 50-50, but Scuba just got to it. Rabe tries to pressure on the defense, not enough, and Scuba managed to get that connection that comes with that experience and go ahead 12-10 in this match.
Another interesting fact for Mobility Scuba. Their team consists of at least 3 different generations inverted commas, of NZ Ultimate players. Generally, a generation is kind of a group that plays together for several Worlds campaigns and then as that group retires and moves on to Masters or stops playing, you know, a different core group kind of forms. So 3 different generations, Fishman says.
Well, that intergenerational experience is certainly going to their benefit today. Brown to pull for Mobility Scoober. HMC. Tom Fraser with the disc. Looking for that long option. Hammer goes up. HMC Hammers make champions. Sheridan to catch, swings back. Looking for Evans. Fraser, give and goes, just dribbling up the sideline. Hislop with the disc right on the edge of the zone, looking for an option. It's looked off, back to center of the field. That pressure from Mobility Scoober really pinning him down. He's going to have to do something over the top. Goes back. Back to Fraser, nearly gets the strip. Sheridan with the disc. Hammer goes up. Can it go? It's caught!
12-11. It's a goal.
HMC are back in the game. That beautiful overhead, maybe a shot at redemption from the previous, keeping them in the game with a beautiful score. Just really nice working around that Mobility Scoober zone.
I think Sheridan has to stay here. His team needs him. He needs to stay. He needs to play both ways. They need a block. They need a break. The sooner they start to come back, the sooner they get into this game. They cannot leave it too late.
Seeing a lot of familiar faces on this defensive line. HMC really putting the grind out, really putting some of their players to the test, seeing if that youth and fitness is going to carry them all the way.
Sheridan with the disc. He is going to stay out there, play both ways. This is a great move, I think, for HMC. He's had a good game today.
We were drafting an MVP team for the tournament yesterday. Do you think Ryan Sheridan's in his place? He's putting in a lot of work in this game, really conservative, really smart ultimate, but not afraid to go for the glory for a big shot like that one in that last point that keeps HMC in the game.
I think so. I think he has put in a performance in this game that I'd be happy to pick him.
Beautiful forehand from Scoober. Linky on the sideline, dribbles back. Puck's going up, not coming, gets looked off. Nice reset. Dead bullet shot through to Linky. Fishman's there. Nice floaty backhand, someone to chase it down. Mobility Scoober go back up by 2.
Looks like Sarah Hannes in the end zone. Sam Fishman with a great throw. It's just a solid offensive point. HMC really never creating any pressure.
I think the length of this game, the absolute grind that both of these teams have been put through, starting to show up. We're seeing some of that defense start to sag off a little bit. You come out on offense, you've got a lot of momentum, you know what you have to do. And if the defense is tired, quite often that can be enough to keep the offense in it, to keep their energy levels high. You only have to grind it out for 15, 20, 30 seconds, and you can come off and let your defense have another go. Scoobers to come back out on defense. Their zone has worked incredibly well for them this far. But we have some really nice zone attacking players on the HMC offensive line. We've got Joseph Panaya, the man who doesn't make mistakes. And so will HMC be able to pick apart that zone defense if it comes down from the Scoober line?
Well, with Mansell being out there as well, they've got the they've got what they need. The tools are there. They just need to pick it up and get the job done. We'll be zone again.
Reset to Mansell. Back to Panaya. Muldrew's there. Muldrew's listed himself as being the guy who cleans up Joe's trash throws. But we haven't seen, there it is, the hammer goes up. Somebody wants the glory. And tipped into the hands of Sanders for Mobility Scoobers. The momentum swings in the other direction. Scoobers with an opportunity. Sanders with the disc to Linky on the sideline. Let the girls do the work.
The note has just been passed to the fat lady to start warming up.
Way to keep that alive, Brown. Shot goes up. That's a point for the Scoobers.
The fat lady is warming up the old vocal cords.
Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather.
14-11. Yep. The equation becomes real simple now for HMC. You score every point or you lose. Mobility Scoober, they need 1 in 5.
All they need right now is perfection. And it is a big ask, but considering the intensity that their offense has brought down this day, they might be able to achieve it. HMC cannot afford to let anything slip. The pedal has to be to the floor for the next potentially 4 points. Here it is, a shot at redemption, a shot to take the title for Best Southern Team, or a chance to defend that title and cement a legacy as the best ultimate players in the South Island.
Well, 1-1, you're confident of your chances to, you know, have a great crack at that team in the future. If they've beaten you twice, you start to think, well, maybe are they actually better than us? Oh, that is a humongous offside. Moore was half the way down the field. Anyway.
Mansell with the disc. Just textbook security, the exact kind of precision you want on your handler set. Back to Panaya. The zone's up, Blade's going up. Who's going to take it? And reset to Muldrew.
Very well read, that Blade. So that is time cap there.
Scoober goes up. But it looks like a call's been made.
Now, Carl Moore is looking like he's going to call a push-off foul.
But it's resolved cleanly, the kind of just calm you expect from a team like Mobility Scoober. Excellent communications, both teams exhibiting fantastic spirit. Scoober goes up again,
beautiful.
Second bite at the apple.
I love it.
And it's snatched up. Looking for that reset to Mansell.
I love it.
Blade to Panaya. Just working that disc.
I do not love it.
Sanders to take, but there's contact.
Yeah, that's sort of coming together of sorts there. I don't know. I really didn't get a good view of it. I was screened a little bit by Panaya. They're going to discuss it.
Looks like he came over the top of Muldrew's right shoulder.
Yeah, just maybe chopped his arm off. So they'll sort it out. They'll figure out. It's uncontested.
That's a spirited call.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
And I suppose when you're up 14-11, you can maybe justify to yourself being a bit nice than you might otherwise consider. Although that buffer is not the kind of team you want to take lightly against a team like HMC. Mansell with the disc.
Yeah, Mansell getting involved here. This is good. This is what they need.
Hard grind from HMC. Just lots of clean passes, trying to keep it alive. Panaya with the assist right in the corner.
Okay.
We have ourselves a game.
I'm not calling it a game yet because I think that Mobility Scoober just go down the field and score this one, Blair. Call me an old cynic. HMC need to score another 3 in a row to take this game. It is a tall ask.
My granddad always said experience should fear the strength of youth. HMC do have a wonderful opportunity. They've been playing fantastic defense. Some of their defensive key players staying on that line, really looking to grind down this Mobility Scoober offense. I don't think I'm ready to close the book on this one just yet.
Well, maybe it's just because you haven't been around long enough, Blair. You've still got that unbridled optimism.
I'm just going with the team names. HMC, Hucks mean comebacks.
They sure do.
We're getting some positive support from the sideline in complete agreement.
I have nothing to say to that. You got me.
1 point you, man.
It's a team sport. 1 point to both of us. HMC to come out on defense, looking to match up.
Get hungry, Andy, get hungry. You want it, Andy. Nice block.
Oh, just kept alive. Moore with a hand underneath the disc. Hunt goes up. Sheridan with the pressure, just boxing out Fishman, making him go a little bit early just underneath that disc. Always important to check the timing of those engines. But this is a golden opportunity again for HMC. They put their D-line A-stars out. Lots of hard grind. They're coming out in a vertical. Wood in the handler set. Hunt going up. Sheridan's there for it. Takes the reception. Nobody's there. There's no support. Calls a timeout. Absolute brilliant call just to give them a chance to catch their breath.
Yeah, nothing.
Move that offense into position.
Nothing in front of him, so. Meg Lake this morning said this is when she's a fan of timeouts being called. And there's nothing in front of them. Gives the offense an opportunity to move down the field, get set, call a play, and potentially just punch it in.
And keep in mind that even just during this game, we saw Mobility Scoober take a timeout. Or was it HMC?
It was
but
HMC.
They called a play and executed perfectly. 3 passes straight off the timeout in a situation almost identical to this one, getting a score just along the sideline and keeping them in this game. Here's an opportunity to do it again. If they play this right, they bring it within 1 point, gives them an opportunity to make a phenomenal upset.
So they're having a chat now. They're just going to sort out. Mobility Scoober have got to call defense. Really don't think there's much to worry about at the moment for Mobility Scoober. They get several cracks at this.
But every single one that they take and miss brings them one step closer to losing. The only downside is that if HMC do manage to convert off this one, it lets Mobility Scoober come out on offense. But keep in mind that we've just seen the HMC D-line manage to get a turn and gain huge amounts of territory just off that one huck. Disc's about to get checked in. Sheridan to hold the disc, coming out in a horizontal stack. Looks to have Caton Wood on his right side, one of the more confident handlers on the HMC line, who's doing a huge amount of workhorse effort in that handler set. Looking to have an isolation play. Got one cutter in the center of the field. Resetting the disc. The patience is there, picked up by Furs. Swings back to Sheridan. To Furs. The pressure's not getting to them. Sheridan calm. Perfect point. Exactly what we wanted to see. They called the timeout. They used it to get their heads back in the game to figure out exactly what they wanted to do. They executed without error and managed to bring this back within 1 point.
Something I want to point out, Blair, is the difference between a lot of teams and how HMC run that midpoint timeout. They run the midpoint timeout not to call a play, but to set up an offense. And the difference is that they rely upon the structures of their offense rather than 1 or 2 cuts from X or Y player. So they don't get sucked into focusing too much on the option that should work because that's what we planned in the timeout. It's, hey, we're just going to play offense like we normally do. We're going to dump, we're going to swing, we're going to use some width, we're going to create some options, create some angles and see if our offense generally can score from here rather than this player can specifically score from here.
Well, whatever they're doing, it certainly seems to be working. They are 2 from 2 scoring off a midpoint timeout. They're going to come back down on defense for what is a crucial break for them. First with the disc.
Well, it all comes down to this.
Fishman to take. This is the one. The tensions are there. I can hear nails being bitten on the sideline. First, the pressure's there. HMC to stay in it.
Oh no. The old cynic in me dares to believe
Like I said, Hucks make comebacks.
And hammers make champions.
Now is an opportunity first to pick up. They're going to come out in what looks to be a vertical. Caitlin Wood again in that handler set. You want that level of reliability when what you need here is to convert. Just manages to secure that disc. Looked like it was rolling off the fingertips. First to Sheridan. Fakes off the entire field. Looking for Adriana Ryan in the corner. First to take instead.
Oh, no.
That's the one.
Oh, no.
Fraser with the score.
Oh, yes, but oh, no.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a game.
It goes to Universe Point. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it.
Is this a story for the ages? Is this the opportunity for the Rocky that is HM's defense, the kind of bid we needed? Shot goes up. Have the Scoobers ladies got it?
Scarlett.
Linky to Fishman for the score. What a finish.
And how fitting is it that it's Linky and Scarlett that combine to create the opportunity for Mobility Scuba. They have been so good all day, and they end up being the difference here in the end, 15-14. What a Universe Point game that was.
That is the kind of performance from Mobility Scuba that really does consolidate a pre-season tournament like the one that they had down in the South Island. An absolutely phenomenal result that's going to see them move through to the quarterfinals. Could not be happier for them.
I think HMC are going to go away and rue their chances there. They had so many opportunities. And